Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real with Najeh Wilkins. I am your host. Today, we're going to be talking all girls sports on the show. Going to bring on Houston County's girls head basketball coach. They just hired her, Miss Dani Wright. So we're going to bring her on and talk a little bit about the Bears, find out what they got going as far as the offseason, a little bit about her background, and a little bit about the team. Also be talking about some big-time headlines in Najeh's Top 5 to end the show, including the WNBA draft, which was last night. So we'll get into a little bit of that. And the hometown team, Atlanta Vibe, is #1 right now in the Pro Volleyball Federation League right now. So they're doing their thing. And then the second segment, we'll just get into some news, just latest around all spring sports. As playoffs are pretty much here. Soccer actually started yesterday. Lacrosse is in about a week from now. And then I know baseball's around the corner as well. So a lot to talk about. But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on Houston County's new head coach.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good, Coach. How are you?
Doing wonderful.
Perfect, Coach. So appreciate you coming on. And also, congrats on the new gig at Houston County. I know you have a very rich history so far, Coach. But I want to kind of go back to high school. I know I believe you graduated from Collins Hill, and then you got your degree, I believe, at BYU in sociology. So just talk about that, Coach. Getting that degree and what kind of made you get into coaching.
Yeah, went to Collins Hill, played for Angie Hembry, and when I went to college, played at Auburn, then transferred over to BYU. Loved basketball. I had some really great coaches that really just taught the game of basketball, and I've always loved it. And so even after college, after getting my degree, I was trying to figure out what do I want to do in life, and everything just kept going back to basketball and being, having that camaraderie with girls and just that sister you have, you miss it when you leave. And so I knew that was something I really wanted to do. And even after college, I got back in it, actually with Angie Hembry, who coached me. We still remain best friends. She's my mentor. And so I got to coach with her and get back into it and just really enjoyed it.
Yes, ma'am. And then if you can, talk a little bit about that, obviously, relationship with your mentor, Coach Hembry, who has had a great history, has coached some of the, greatest to play the game. Norcross, they have, a rich tradition there playing girls basketball. And I believe you were the coach there for a little bit too, correct?
Yes. So when she kind of had some medical issues, I helped in and took over. But she's been an awesome mentor. She's always helping me. We talk constantly. We're pretty much family. So my kids call her grandma. She's very well connected with us. And so when I was over at Norcross, it's actually kind of a funny story. I was living in the Archer district at the time. And so we would just spend the night all the time with her because it's about an hour and a half drive. And so then when I transferred over to Archer, she got a job over there as well, being in admin. And so she would come spend the night with us. So we still remain very well connected all the time, even during, the NCAA basketball games. We're texting all the time about who you got winning and stuff like that. But she is an amazing woman, very knowledgeable of the game. And not only that, but just always very willing to help. If I ever have questions, she's always there to help me. I'll just shoot her a phone call and she's got my back.
Love to see that, Coach, and hear about that. And then, obviously talk a little bit about those stops there. You were at Archer, and then you were at, I believe, most recently Gilmer County. What did you kind of peel away from those stops?
Yeah, so Archer, it was kind of funny. My son was going into middle school, and he just looked at us one day, and he goes, well, I'm going to McConnell Middle, so with or without you, so you better figure out your life. So we were like, whoa, hold up, buddy, because the middle school dismissed later than high school. So we were trying to figure out our schedule. So we ended up landing a job over there for my kid. So we kind of all be on the same page and whatnot. So, but went to Archer for 3 years, helped build a program over there, had 2 Sweet 16 appearances there, and then went to the Final Four my last year over there. Then we moved and went to Gilmer High School, where we started off pretty much fresh over here, and then in 3A basketball this past season.
Yes, ma'am. And then, talk a little bit about this season. I know it was an exciting one, obviously, for Gilmer County. What did you enjoy most about being with your girls? I know it's very family-oriented, but what did you enjoy most about that experience this past year?
Oh, I have such a great group of girls. We, like you said, we treat everything like a sisterhood. It is family. We say we endure. It's a roller coaster. We endure everything together. So the ups and downs, we got to do it together. Great community out here. My kids have loved it. So it's been very pleasant. I can't explain anything about it.
No doubt. And then, Coach, real quick, just how far is Gilmer County from Houston County, if you had to say?
It's a drive. Sure. It's about 3 hours and change. So
wow.
It's a good drive.
Yeah, that's a good drive. I was hoping that they were a little close because I know obviously you created those bonds there and kind of be able to keep up with them. But yeah, that's a good drive.
Yeah, I'm starting to build new people in South Georgia now.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. So, Coach, if you can, just kind of walk us through a little bit of kind of how the hiring process was. When did you kind of know like, okay, hey, this could potentially be a place for me? Just talk a little about that with Houston County.
Really started going off. My son plays football. Like I said, we're all about the family and what's going on. And so we wanted to get him into a program that would benefit him. And so we started looking into football, really, was how it started and how it came about. And over here at Gilmer, I have a coworker who left Houston County and came to coach volleyball here at Gilmer. And so she's always talked so highly of Houston County. And so we've always followed along and paid attention and I always knew the background of Houston County and what they produce and stuff like that. So we started talking to Jeremy Edwards, the football coach, and getting a good feel about that and talking to Maria, the volleyball coach that is here at Gilmer. And they've kind of helped us out throughout this whole process. And so we kind of fell in love with it immediately. And we went and visited all the facilities, the football field, the basketball. It almost looks like an arena. It's beautiful. And so all the amenities were great. And just seeing the football coach, what he brought to the table was awesome. And so then meeting principals and the AJ and Brett and what they produce out there, the culture that they produce, the servant leadership and the family it felt like out there. I mean, we were bought in immediately.
Certainly, Coach. And then, obviously we dive into Houston County in a second, but from your experience of coaching, especially in basketball and at a high level, what are some of the keys you got to have, Coach, in order to kind of resonate with your bunch and your group in order to kind of be able to attain some of that success that you've been able to achieve?
Right. So my coaching, I think I fit very well with the Houston County girls. I've always wanted to have teams play at a high level. I'm big into a tempo game, in a full court game at that. I can't just, like ball down the floor. I want to just go in full court on offense, on defense. I see my girls play fast. I want them to see them play physical, but also, be under control and maintain the quality of play. But I've watched them film them. I'm excited about putting in presses and changing the tempo of the game. We have a lot of long girls, tall girls, which I'm very excited about that. I'm excited to see them attacking the rim, getting down the floor. And we've had 2 good from Houston County, 2 that one made honorable mention all region and one made second team. So that's exciting to build off of that and hopefully develop years to get those kind of nominations.
No doubt about it. And then, Coach, you recently just had your interest meeting. I saw that you posted it on your Twitter. So how did that kind of go with, getting to learn your group a little bit, your girls, and then obviously how receptive has the community been since you kind of come in there?
Yeah, so it was really fun. You know, so it was awkward when you first meet a group because we're all worried about the unknown, you know. And so after a couple questions started getting done, they kind of broke out of their shell and started acting goofy and fun. And so it was a really good meeting them and just asking them a lot of little questions, you know, about them and who they are as basketball and extracurricular activities. And so it was a great feel. The staff, girls, everyone has been just so wonderful and loving, and it was just great. And so we're actually going to do another meet and greet with the parents soon coming up. So I'm excited as well, and getting to meet their parents too.
Yes, ma'am, certainly. And then, you know, for you coaching your program, obviously, I know you just talked about you're going to have the meet and greet with the parents. How does kind of off season look around this time? I know it's big summer ball now. Girls are playing AAU, girls are playing travel ball and things like that. But how does like the program usually look? Are you still kind of outlining that? Like, how does that go with basketball?
Yeah, so all month of June we're going, and so right now we got in building. I do a lot of, we'll do weights, we'll do speed, agility, and quickness, and we'll have 2-hour practice as well in that. And then I want to kind of really gauge where our kids at and start playing some games towards the end of the week to just see what we can incorporate, what we've learned on putting it in a game flow. So we'll Monday through Thursday, all of June, but very big in just the little things, the details of all that stuff that can make it. And so, and I'm a big advocate of the speed, agility, and quickness and doing all those kind of drills and making sure that the girls know how to run. And I think that's one thing that's so overseen in sports, getting faster of how to run correctly, knee up, toe up, having a bend, doing drills for it. So I get excited when I see the girls being able to produce and get better at that to help them with their overall game, as
No
well
doubt.
as the strength and.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead. I'm sorry,
sorry.
Coach. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'd rather you speak than me. No, go ahead.
Okay, and then as well as the weight training, you know, everything too. It's so important to be strong and physical. I mean, if you watched, you know, the girls' performances, it's so physical nowadays. It's not, and so, but just important, huge.
Certainly, Coach. And then, as far as weight training, right? If you can walk me through kind of how that is. Like, I know every sport's different. I know usually like football, like they might wait a couple weeks to a month, and then they're already hitting the weights. Like, how does that kind of work on girls' basketball side? When you guys usually hit weight training, or has that already begun?
So yeah, so what we do, we'll start working, especially if kids have never done it. You know, we got to learn the technique. We got to learn the little stuff first before we go into the big stuff. So, but I do like to do a lot of core workouts. I like to do a lot of unilateral leg lifts, you know, to protect our knees. Girls were very prone to tear ACL, so it's very important to keep that strong. And then during the school year, I have all the girls in a weight training class. So I'll have them from the beginning of the school year to the end and just keep building them with that process.
Okay, gotcha, Coach. That makes a lot of sense. And then, do some of your girls play? I'm sure they do, but do some of your girls play multiple sports?
Yes, so I have a lot of softball players as well and some flag football. So I love that because I think multi-sport kids, they help in every aspect in different sports, you know, like with your baseball, you know, you got the passers, the baseball hand passing and stuff like that. You know, if you have volleyball kids, you got the jumpers and stuff. So I really love getting multi-sport kids involved.
No doubt about it. Now, Coach, just, you know, if you can, tell us a little bit about your team, kind of how it looks. I know it's still early. I know you're going to get your roster together and everything with tryouts and all that. But how does, you know, some of your roster look going into next year? Tell us about some of the girls.
Yeah, so like I said, we got a lot of height. We have 2 girls. Maddie Jones, she helped us last year. She was second team all region, and then Lee Snyder, who was honorable mention. I saw some girls too that had athletic bodies when we were there. There's a lot that we need to develop and work on, but like I said, you know, excited about running a press, doing a full court game with them. I think they will be very successful at it. I can see them really shining through it, but just fine tuning a lot of those little things, you know. After watching film, you just see it, but they have a lot of potential and they have a lot of talent, which is exciting to see too.
No doubt about it. So you mentioned Maddie Jones. You mentioned some of your key players. Is anybody that's kind of flying under the radar, Coach, that we should watch for?
So I've been talking to people. Elena Coley, she's our little point guard, and she has a brother that plays in collegiate level. And so hearing people talk about her and what she produces, and seeing her on film too, she has some really good talent, and I'm excited about her. Also, we have Madison. I think Fillingame is her last name. She was a good little attribute last year too, watching those game films. So I'm excited about those two as well. I have a younger girl, and I can't think of her name right now, but she has some length to her and just a very athletic body, and I can see some potential from her just seeing what I saw.
Gotcha, Coach. Now, this is outside of actually Houston County, but from you and your career, Coach, who were just, obviously I don't want to single out anybody, but who are some of the best players you've kind of coached throughout your career that you've been able to, kind of witness and been a kind of a mentor to them, similar to kind of how Coach Henry has been for you?
Yeah, so I've been very blessed to coach a lot of talent, especially Norcross days, Archer days, and things like that. I coached 21 kids that have played in college, and that's exciting. But I got St. Johnson was from Norcross, and she was our post, and she was actually from Spain. And when she first came over to Norcross, did not know any English, and so that was kind of fun. Vash Perry, she coaches in college basketball right now. I have Devin Wilson, who I coached at Norcross, that I still contact with, and she's actually refereeing and getting into that game. But yeah, so it's really fun to see these kids and still follow them on social media too, just to see where they're going. And Taylor Mason was a two, and she's pretty much a big sister to my boys, and we crack up laughing because whenever we text, she's like, all right, show me a picture of my boys. How are they? And so it's fun because my kids have grown up with these girls, and they have become their sisters. And so it's really fun to see.
No doubt, Coach. Now, I got to ask you, from just the being able to play and being able to play in college and seeing where the game is going, I'm going to ask you about that in a sec, but how exciting was it to watch girls basketball for you this season, being able to watch, obviously, the high school girls, but also like the college girls from, a spectator? Kind of how cool was that to be able to see the game?
It was so much fun, and people laugh at me, and we kind of joke because they're like, well, who do you got and who you pick? And I was like, I watch girls basketball, right? Not a whole lot of boys basketball. And they all laugh at me, but it was so amazing to see those girls perform and the quality of the performance and how big girls basketball is getting to be. And, even hearing Don Staley say at the end, about Caitlin Clark and what she's brought it to, and she's right, and it's just so fun to see. I mean, we were going nuts watching all these games. People are laughing. My boys are laughing, telling me to calm down because I'm jumping up and down like I'm a part of it, But that the national championship game, how loud and the energy in that arena was phenomenal.
Yes, it was, and I mean, like we said, just setting viewer records. The LSU game started with that one, 14 million, and then expanded to the UConn versus Iowa game, and then obviously the national championship with 18.1 million. So it's moving in the right direction. Coach, what if you had to say, or maybe throw a critique in, what do you think needs to happen to continue to elevate the game in sort of a sense? Because it's hard for just one player to just do it. It has to be everybody. It has to be the Dawn Staley's. It has to be, the new Tennessee coach. It has to be all these girls getting the wide exposure. So what do you think needs to kind of happen for it to continue to elevate?
I love the concepts of just that team basketball. I think as a coaching standpoint too, I think sometimes we always worry about me ball, and I'm thinking of like NIL deals now too, and hearing all these college coaches talking about that. But emphasizing more just team ball, because like you said, not one person can do it by themselves. Okay, you can have the Caitlin Clark, who's the shooter, but who's going to be the rebounder? Who's going to be the kid that's getting the steals? Who's going to do the dirty work? So I love the emphasis on team ball. Not everyone can be perfect at one thing, but we can all do little parts and do our part to make the whole great.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then there was another question I want to ask you about the girls' landscape. In your eyes, you've seen it and you know a little bit about recruiting. Has it been kind of difficult, obviously, with, you got the transfer portal, you have the NIL, for like these girls in high school going on to the next level, being able to play or just being able to kind of find their niche, for the program they go to? Or, is it facing kind of the same struggles that we see with football, basketball, or men's basketball? Kind of, if you can elaborate a little bit on kind of how it is for girls, making that jump from their last year in high school, senior, to going to kind of a freshman.
Yeah, so and I tell a lot of parents this too. When you're the freshman in college, you're low man on the totem pole. You're working yourself back up, and you're playing against kids that hit their senior year that are bigger, stronger, faster. Because college is a different game, and every kid that I've had that's played in college, they laugh. They go, "We thought that you ran us a lot, Coach. You don't even run us like college." And I'm like, I told you, it's just a different game. It's a bigger step up with that mentality. So I know that girls, when they first come in, they get really timid their ninth grade year and kind of almost a shell shock with everything that you have to do, because it's not just you. It's your time managing your time. You got school, you got weights, you got practice, then you got school. So you're trying to learn all of this stuff and managing, and it gets overwhelming. And it can be exhausting in the same breath too from that jump. So I always tell people not to get down on themselves. Your freshman year, that it is a grind that year to try to figure out who you are, how you're placing yourself on this team with new teammates and stuff like. But I get worried about kids that do want to play college and making sure that they find their best fit. And I think that's a big thing that I hope as a whole people understand. It's not just about playing D1 basketball. That's not it. I want parents to find a good fit for their kid where they're going to succeed. Because I've had kids too that just wanted to play D1 basketball, and they transfer and transfer and transfer and transfer because they're just not happy. And so that fit you can play where you can excel is very, very important.
No doubt about it, Coach. I think we see that a lot now, especially, in all sports. Just, like you said, being able to find the fit. And I think sometimes, for parents, it's kind of hard to have that conversation because a lot of just D1. But like you said, if it's not the fit, you end up transferring 4 or 5 times and, you're never happy. But like you said, if you find that fit in the program, or if you go somewhere, that's lower, and then you're able to kind of, build yourself up and then able to transfer over and finish strong, that's very important, and it helps you out in the long term.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. All right, Coach, I got a couple more. I'll let you go. One, you obviously talked about implementing, back to Houston County, you talked about implementing kind of your system and implementing those practices, getting your girls right. So what are just some goals you kind of got for this season? Obviously, it could be a metric, it cannot be a metric, but what do you want to achieve with these girls?
Yeah, so one thing I always tell my kids, one thing I want from them every day is an effort. That's something that I can't give you. That's something to the table every day. I'm big into details. I'm all about the small details that make you great as a whole. It could be dribbling, it could be ball handling, getting low, whatever it is. Those fine details about how to do it makes them great. So I'm a big advocate of that. We've talked a little bit already about the weight room. I believe it pays off. It's building a new mentality in there, and it starts with lifting together. We've talked agility and quickness on that. I'm a huge advocate of that. But also, I want to work on the girls getting committed, doing the extra, not just doing what's in our time frame together, because a lot of that time is just teamwork together, not so much as individualization on them. So doing that extra, spend an extra 20 minutes, get some shots in, every day. I also want to work on leadership and making sure that it's a player-led team. We all know as coaches that a player-led team is so much stronger than a coach-led team. And by doing that is teaching the game of basketball. So these girls understand and whys of basketball. They can start leading each other and coaching each other to do those things. So, and then, and helping these girls too, that if, hey, you do want to play at the next level, that we're here to help you. We have contacts. We still a lot of friends in the college coaching community, and we still talk to them almost every day. I just like to pick their brains still, get advice from them. So But just even having those talks, if you do want to get better, hey, we're here to support you and we can help you out too.
No doubt about it. And then, Coach, I know you mentioned like you'll kind of ramp it up kind of in the month of June. I know some coaches, they'll go and take different trips to colleges and play there and let their girls kind of get acclimated and used to each other before the season kind of starts in the next couple of months. Will you guys, I don't know if you answered this, but I just want to make sure, will you guys be doing any of that this summer, or you kind of be, at Houston County kind of working it through, there in South Georgia?
So this year will be a little bit different just because not having control of the money situation yet or anything like that. So we're going to be playing more of just teams around the state. But next year, because I love the camp, I think it builds a lot of character for all these kids. But not only that, we get to know who we are together, and we get to play. I'm all about work hard. We play hard, but we also work hard and just getting to know each other. I think it brings a whole nother level to the team and the leadership and the love and the family aspect.
No doubt. Final question, Coach. What advice would you give others that similar in your shoes, right? They're still trying to
all right. For some reason, I've lost you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
All right. Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
No worries. Yes. So I was just saying, as a final question, Coach, what advice would you give other coaches that were similar in your shoes? They're trying to figure it out. They're young, but they want to, end up being a coach on the high school level. Be able to just similar to what you're doing, Coach, affect change. Be able to be a mentor to these girls and help them get to where they want to achieve in life.
Yeah, definitely. Just servant leadership is really big. Helping others out. I think is always be a student of the game. I don't think it matters how old you get. You still learn something new every day. I'm big into calling people. If I have a question, I'll call a high school coach, a college coach, just to pick their brain and just to understand stuff and how can I get better. And it could be stupid stuff that people that think or might think it's stupid. Like, hey, I started seeing on the college thing that coaches are spreading out on the bench. Hey, why are you doing this? How does it help? How does it, little things even. So always just say a student of the game is really big, and just help others. I mean, I think that's just the biggest thing. I think the biggest compliment you can get as a head coach is when an assistant coach wants to be a head coach. So I think it's a great compliment.
No doubt about it. Well, Coach, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the program, the show today. I really appreciate it, Coach, and congrats on the new role with the Houston County Bears, and wish you nothing but success and good luck in the future, Coach. And go Bears.
Go Bears. Bear down. Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Certainly. All right, guys. So there goes head coach Wright from Houston County. Really enjoyed the interview with her, getting to know her program a little bit better. I think she is the right fit for them, and I think she will have obviously a great impact on those girls there. So really enjoy her coming on the show today to talk a little bit about basketball, and obviously we got to talk a little bit about the growing sport of girls basketball, which is big right now all across the country, garnering a lot of attention. So definitely enjoyed that. But we're going to take one quick short break. Thanks to our sponsors. Be back on the other side.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
All right, guys, welcome back. So now we're going to get a little bit into just different sports, obviously around spring and the latest going on. So we'll start with basketball. Obviously, that's a winter sport, but some recent hirings. Jackson County hired their new head coach, Mackenzie Daria. She played up under head coach Gene Durden of Buford. Obviously, you guys know Coach Durden was one of the staples here in the state of Georgia on the girls' high school basketball level. coached some greats. Obviously, the superstar right now at ESPN, Andrea Carter, who went to Tennessee. So he knows a little bit about coaching some great coaches. So she was up under him. So I think she's going to be great for their program and what they want to build. And also, you had Centennial announcing their new girls basketball coach, Dana Smith. She will be their new head coach at Centennial. And they are starting a new regime there. So that is the latest news on winter basketball and new head coaches being hired. Talk a little bit about volleyball. Actually, looks like Griffin already has their roster ready to go for next season. So players that made it, Kalela Allen, Ariana Mays, London Llewellyn, Anaya Walker, Malaya Ogletree, Ansley Carroll, Zeronia Moreland, Ava Stinnett, Ariana Pavin, Mackenzie Drake, Lily Miranda, Deidre Jean, Alyssa Alfred, Jalea Harrell, Brianna Hargrove, Jaslyn Edwards, Molly Mendez, Kalia Taylor, Amani Lang, Hannah Causer, Trinity Holtz, Taja Smith. And that's obviously some 8th graders on here as well that are starred. I won't mention them because obviously they're not in high school yet, but obviously we'll have a chance to make the varsity roster. But that was announced. You guys can go to GriffinBearAthletics.com for the full list. As you guys know, those fall sports are starting to kind of heat up with obviously trials going on right now. We talked about softball tryouts last week, and obviously the teams kind of being finalized before they go into the summer and things like that, and they go into their weight training and obviously prepping for the season. All right, so we'll go to now track and field. So Loganville, along with Nicole Taylor, they just won their 4x200 relay in the event that they were at. They took first place with a minute 46:71 time. Very, very, very fast and blazing. And Nicole Turner, she actually had the second leg, did an outstanding job there. She's a multi-sport athlete, very young, only a freshman this year. She also is the varsity point guard / shooting guard as well. So great to see that. And she plays for AU Dream Team Elite. So shout out to them, multi-sport athlete. They just took home the 4x200 relay with the fastest time. All right, other news, got to give you guys an update. There's always some new times being set, as you guys all know. So the newest times this week for the fastest in the state, got to go with, we mentioned her name a lot on the show, and that's Ola Watson Owayeli out of South Cobb. She set a new 800-meter time with 2 minutes, 6 seconds, and 0.60 milliseconds. And then you had Caroline Hood of Pace Academy. She set a new time, fastest in the state, 4 minutes, 50 seconds, and 0.43. And then you also had Mariana Wright in the 300-meter hurdles from Marlboro Comprehensive High, 41:83 time for the 300-meter hurdles as well. She set that at the Westover relays. And then also you had Druid Hill setting another 4x200 time with a minute 35.50 at McEachern Invitational as well. And then it looks like those are the latest times from this past week. Times being set, as you guys all know. And I believe track and field, the championships are, I think they start in May. So that is right around the corner. As you guys all know, go to agency.com and get the track blog. Craig does a great job with that, always highlighting people and top performances from the week. So that's the latest on that. Also got to talk now, transition to another winter sport, currently softball. So we'll talk about McEachern's Tamia Polk. She officially made her decision, and she is committed. She's going to be going to Clark Atlanta. So she had a really good, obviously, career from McEachern, a multi-sport athlete as well, played basketball while she was there. And one of the staples, as you guys know, McEachern had a really good team this year. They were very high in a lot of rankings and ended up finishing with a Final Four in 2023. But, they've been doing some great things. So she's officially headed to Clark, Atlanta. So special shout out to her. All right, also in softball, you had a new head coach. So Harrison Hoyas, they officially hired their next coach, which will be Coach, saying his first name, Coach Richard Dombrowski via their Twitter at HHS Hoya Softball. The Harrison softball program is proud to announce that Richard Dombrowski has been named the head coach for the upcoming 2024 season. Coach Dombrowski has spent the last 4 years as an assistant softball and baseball coach at Hillgrove High School. During his time, the softball program made a pair of trips to the state tournament in Columbus, and the baseball program posted back-to-back region championships in 2023 and 2024. Coach Dombrowski started his high school teaching and coaching career at Kings Ridge Christian School and coordinated the baseball program's middle school, JV, and varsity programs for 3 seasons. Prior to his high school coaching career, Coach Dombrowski served as the associate head coach of the Piedmont University baseball program for 14 years, as well as the school's sports information director for 9 seasons. During his time with the Lions Ball Club, he posted 3 conference championships and a pair of NCAA postseason appearances, the school's first coming in 2008 and 2011. In both seasons, the Lions finished in the top 25 in the final national poll and received as high as 5th during the regular season. Coach Dombrowski was also inducted into the Osborne Park High School Hall of Fame in 2022 during his 4-year high school career. The Manassas, Virginia native was the inaugural Pete Ellis Award recipient as the first athlete to earn 12 varsity letters in golf, wrestling, and baseball. He's a 2-time regional qualifier in golf and posted 127-26 career wrestling record that included 3 district titles, 2 region championships, and 4 trips to the state tournament, where he placed 3rd his senior year. So that is via their Twitter. They have a new head coach. Obviously, you guys, as you guys can see, has a lot of great experience on the college level, collegiate level, and also the high school ranks. So he'll be a great addition to their program. They made that hire yesterday, so special shout out to them. And then, as you guys all know, go to scoreshill.com. The slow pitch softball is officially here. Championships will be this week, actually tomorrow and Thursday. Some top teams that you want to kind of watch. Let's see what we have. Okay, so it looks like West Lawrence coming off his second slow pitch softball state championship from last year. First time since Harrison County did it 6 years ago. The Raiders are trying for their 3rd title in program history, with the first coming back in 2000. So they're going to be a team to watch. Also, you got Jefferson and Richmond Hill. They're going to face off in the first round. Winner will face the victor of West Lawrence versus Cherokee. The Dragons were catapulted to the championship bracket after hitting a combined 8 home runs against Cherokee and River Ridge as well. And then it also looks like Franklin County will take on River Ridge in the first round of the tournament. They had an 8-0 regular season before the Lions went 3-0 in sectionals and then 11-0 overall. You have Creekview and Elbert County will play in the first round of the championship bracket, with the winner facing Franklin County or River Ridge. So the full list is out. Go to scoreshill.com to get the matchups. Max did a good job on this story, so all that is there and the latest on that. All right, we'll keep it going. All right, let's go ahead and go to lacrosse. A lot is going on in the sport. Obviously, I covered with my rankings, which drop tomorrow. But Blessed Trinity's Clark Hamilton, she hits 250 career goals in her career. Special shout out to her. Blessed Trinity has been doing their thing all season, y'all. They've been pretty much at the top of my rankings all year for what they've been able to do, and they picked up a big win actually this past week as well, beating a top team, handing them their first loss, which we'll talk about in just a second. And they're going to end the regular season actually today against Chattahoochee at 6 p.m. So they've been doing their thing. Special shout out to Clark Hamilton and what she's been able to accomplish in her illustrious career. All right, so we got to update also with lacrosse before we talk about the results. We got to talk about what Mill Creek's been doing. They've been at the high for me. They've been in the top 10 for the past about 5-6 weeks or so, and they've been doing a lot of winning recently. So Bridget Warrison, she reached the 100-point mark for her career after their 19-2 win over Duluth on Monday. Warrison had 2 goals in that game and 4 assists. Also got stellar play from Ellison Hillebrand. She had 4 goals. Jaden Simmons, she had 3 goals on 3 shots, so she was 3 for 3. Claire Brothers, 3 goals on 3 shots. Lydia McDaniel, 2 goals. Izzy Rose, she had 2 goals. Kaylee Rosales Valdez, she had a goal. And Hannah Sophia Suarez had a goal as well. So a great game for them. They're 8-3 overall, and they're 5-0 in the area play, so they're looking primed for a number 1 seed come playoff time. Parkview picked up another win against Collins Hill, 21-4. They're 8-7 overall on the year, 5-1 in area play as well. Looks like they're going to be able to get a high seed come playoff time as well. And then their goalie for the Eagles, she did reach a milestone. She got her 100th career save. That is Kaylin Garrick, being able to accomplish that in the loss. And then Decatur beat GAC 10-9 in a double overtime game between those two teams. And the Spartans are actually 3-1 in their area in their second place overall. So it looks like they'll make the postseason. Dominic Riley, she had 5 goals, 5 draw controls, and a caused turnover in that one. Kelly Dixon had 2 goals, 5 draw controls, and also a caused turnover. So that's the latest in Gwinnett Roundup. Go to Gwinnett Daily Post to get the latest on that and the latest happenings there. All right. Now, we'll talk about some of the top games from this past week that happened. So Wesleyan, as I mentioned, they picked up a big win against Greater Atlanta Christian, 17-8. Westminster, they pretty much outclassed the out-of-state opponent, Girls Prep, beating them 16-3. And this one was a little surprising. As you know, Milton has kind of, obviously they are, you know, the class of girls varsity lacrosse. But, you know, they've won 4 straight since losing a couple of their games, or 2 straight, I should say. But Cambridge really gave them a game. That went back and forth. They were able to pull it out, though, win 11-9. But shout out to Cambridge, though, and what they've been doing. They've been high also in the rankings in 5A, 6A. That was an out-of-region or out-of-area game as their region play has concluded. But I thought they gave them a really, really good test. Unfortunately, they won't see each other in the postseason because they're in different classifications. But I thought that was an intriguing game between those two and them kind of playing Milton really tough and getting them all the way to the brink. So special shout-out to them. And then Stars Mill with another big win against Whitewater. Whitewater is like high as number 4 in the poll. They've been playing really well this year. But Stars Mill has been beginning to surprise a little bit what they've been able to do. So they get a top win in Class A through 4A. So special shout out to them as well. And then Saturday, really good one. Lambert defeated South Paulding 8-7 in a tightly contested matchup. So I thought that was interesting as well to see what they were able to do. Actually, I think that was South Forsyth. So South Forsyth has been, you know, up and down in the poll, what they've been able to do. But Lambert was able to win that one. And then on Monday, which was yesterday, Blessed Trinity had another big win. That's the one we were alluding to. But they defeated undefeated Fellowship Christian 18-10 in a very high-scoring affair between those two teams. As you guys all know, that was the first loss all year for Fellowship Christian as well. And actually, what's so cool about these two teams, let me see. Just want to make sure before I say. Okay, well, yeah, they have it wrong on Max Preps, but they don't have an area loss yet for Fellowship Christian. But that is their first loss of the year. So I think that is the most amount of points that they've given up as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. So, you know, Blessed Trinity's been deep all year. Again, they only have 1 loss. So they're one of the top teams also in the state. Their only loss was to Cambridge. As you guys can see, Cambridge is really good. Just sent Milton to the brink, you know, in that game. Unfortunately lost, but they lost to them 14-13. So highest scoring output all year for Blessed Trinity. So a really strong game between those two teams as well. So shout out to them, man. Fellowship Christian will probably still be number 1. They're not going to face each other come postseason. Blessed Trinity's 5A, 6A, and then obviously Fellowship Christian's 1A, 4A. But I thought it was a very exciting out-of-area game between those two teams. So that also stood out to me. And then 2 more on lacrosse. Northgate, they keep rolling, 9-3 win against Noonan. And then the Westminster, a very dominating win against Stars Mill, who just picked up a really good win against Whitewater. But they dominated them. Westminster won 21-10. So they got it rolling. Everybody contributed in the scoring effort, and I believe that is their highest scoring output all year. Let's see. Let's verify if I'm right on that. Yes. So shout out to them. And what's so cool, too, that's been going on recently with, obviously, Westminster, that their offense has kind of found their groove. Their last 3 games, they've eclipsed 16 goals or more. Against Girls Prep, held them to only 3 points, and then Stars Mill held them to 10, but scored 21. So they've been doing their thing, and then they had a high-scoring loss against Wesleyan, who's one of the top teams in Class A4A as well, 20-19. So they have been hitting their stride and playing some really good lacrosse at the right time, and they're going to close their season against Southwest DeKalb tomorrow night at 5:45. So that is the latest in lacrosse. Those are what's been going on as well. So yeah, some final games. I think a lot of senior nights are going to be this week for lacrosse, and a lot of teams going trying to close out the season strong. And I think the first round will be, if it's not this week, it'll be early next week as well. So last but not least, before we take our next break, soccer. Shout out to these Blessed Trinity girls soccer players real quick. Abby Bell, she made all-region team for Region 7. 6A, Abby Bell made first team. Reese Jackson, she made first team as well. Second team was Megan Simbrot, and honorable mention was Amelia Comex, and then academic was Ide Strickland there as well. So that is the latest. That's what I got on the soccer realm. Obviously, you guys know it's playoffs, but that's my thoughts. That's what stood out to me in lacrosse. That's the latest on spring sports. So we're going to take one more quick break, thank our sponsors, and be back on the other side with my top 5 to conclude the show.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
All right, guys, welcome back. So to conclude the show, we'll start with my top 5, just biggest headlines around women's sports all across the country. So at number 1, got to talk about some of the top hoop prospects, as well. As you guys all know, it was a big night for girls sports and really girls basketball. As you guys know, the WNBA draft was last night at about 7 p.m. So some of the just, game-changing players really of the sport just really put it on the mountaintop. What a great class 2025 was. Obviously, you had Caitlin Clark, Camila Cardozo, you had Angel Reese, Paige Bookers. You had really a phenomenal class, and I believe the number 2 overall pick, she was in that class as well, Cameron Brink. So special shout out to them and just what they were able to accomplish and just put girls basketball at its pinnacle, right? Putting it at where people are tuned in and want to see it. So special shout out to them. And obviously at number 1, Caitlin Clark went to Indiana Fever. And what's so cool, a lot of people were, roasting it on Twitter that, oh man, that contract, like, it sucks. Like 4 years, $336,000. But I just love the allure that they're going to be able to bring to the sport as well. Obviously, they're going to have to adjust, but I just love being able to see that. Obviously, she's going to start with about $70,000 a year. But I think if they can bring that same kind of aura to the sport, especially on the professional level, and bring that same kind of audience and that same kind of, kind of eyeball for it, I think that'll be great for them going forward. And I think it'll be, I think it's going to continue to get more coverage, and hopefully it will continue to go up. But Caitlin Clark, number 1, what'll be so cool is seeing her pair with Aaliyah Boston. Those two could definitely be a problem. We've already seen ticket sales are going up. A lot of people want to see them. And the crazy part of the Fever is that I believe 32 of their 36 games are on national TV. So if that don't show you the kind of draw that Caitlin Clark is, I mean, nothing else will. So that's going to be exciting. And what Caitlin brings to the table is not just the shooting, but also the playmaking. She's a phenomenal passer. A lot of those passes, she's zipping across the court fast. And then, the level of girls she's going to play with, no disrespect to Iowa, like all those girls are great and they can hoop, but the level of competition is going to be greater, right? So she's going to be able to whip those passes, to those big men, and they're going to finish with ease, right? So she's going to, I think, even have even better numbers assist-wise, playmaking-wise when she goes to the league. But her and Boston, I mean, you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do because they can run pick and roll. It can dive down into the cup, throw it to Boston. She can finish anywhere around the rim, and she's a phenomenal rebounder. And then Clark can stretch it from deep. I don't care what nobody says. Nobody's shooting it that deep. in the WNBA level. Like, it's going to be something nobody's really ever seen in a long time. Like, the way she can shoot and how effortless it is, that's just, another level. So those two together, I think is going to be interesting. Cameron Brink, obviously, she went to the LA Sparks. Her and Rickea Jackson together, and nobody really talked about that one, but I think that's going to be kind of interesting. Brink being the power forward. Obviously, the Sparks haven't won in some years now. Those two, Rickea Jackson, how she can space the floor as well, how she can finish through contact around the rim. Those two, that pairing is going to be interesting as well. And then last but not least, you got to talk about Camila Cardozo and obviously Angel Reese, right? They're going to keep their rebounding numbers are probably going to be like the best in the league. So Chicago Sky, in my opinion, knocked it out the park with getting those two. Having two beasts, we'll see if they're able to run some lineups together. I seen kind of in some posts that Reese was, shooting a three-point shot, shooting it good. If she can continue to add that and take that shot more willingly, I wouldn't say it's not a part of her game, but she can take that more willingly. And you got Cardozo in the post, and her rebounding process along with Reese, like that's definitely a problem too. So I think it's gonna make for an exciting season, especially for some of these teams that weren't good last year, the Sparks, the Fever. And obviously Chicago Sky, I think they knocked it out the park with that. So that's going to be really intriguing to see kind of those pairs go together and, just be able to see what they're able to do. So that was last night. That's my number one headline. Can't wait to see how all those tandems work out. And I definitely will be trying to watch some WNBA action. So that's the number one headline. Number two, got to give a shout out to Gwinnett County Public School Student Athletes of the Month. Via Gwinnett Daily Post. So number one, it was Corinne Rodney of Archer. So she was named to Student Athlete of the Month. I thought I had a little bit more detail there. Number two was Aaron Jones of Archer. He also made this list of players, runs track and field. See, I'm going to try to stick to the ladies. All right, next one was Angelica Nava of Berkmar. She's played soccer. She's one of the leaders on their team and what they're able to do as well. And then number five was Peyton Rose of Brookwood. Also plays soccer. She's a senior, 2-year captain, 2-year Super 6, and is committed to play at the University of Illinois. So they really like her leadership as well. She also made this list. Let's see. And then number 7, you have Whitley Caraway. She's on, looks like the golf trails, plays for Grayson. She's been a varsity golfer all 4 years. Has been their low medalist the past 2 seasons. She also is a cheerleader, scholar athlete, and student council member, along with many other extracurricular activities. So shout out to her as well. And then number 9 was Brentley Miller of Lanier. She is a lacrosse player for them. Quote here says, consistent encouragement and positive demeanor create an uplifting environment that inspires each member to perform their best. So they really like that she's extremely coachable as well. All right, then you have Anna Wynn of Meadow Creek. She's a senior, plays tennis, very smart, has 3.75 GPA, positive spirit, well-rounded student athlete on the tennis courts as well. Great in the classroom, great with the tennis racket as well. And then you have Sydney Shaway of Mountain View, also plays tennis. She's a junior. She won Student Athlete of the Month, has been on the team for the past 3 years, has continued to make great improvements and moved her way up to the tennis team as well. Also great in the classroom, winning Gwinnett County, a Gwinnett Student Leadership Team, and National Honor Society. All right, a couple more. Elena Duva of Norcross. She's a senior. Has been a member of the Norcross tennis team all 4 years of her high school career. Has been a consistent leader for them and is the epitome of a student athlete. All right, couple more. Let's see. All right, Sophia Berryman of Parkview plays lacrosse. One of the team's top performers in the history of Parkview girls lacrosse, and on her sophomore season, Sophia has established herself as the primary offensive threat for the Lady Panthers. This season, she scored 73 goals, which accounts for nearly 40% of the team total. Surpassed 100 goals for her career in her 30th career game. Wow. Has 11 hat tricks in 13 games with a season high 8 goals in three times. So shout out to her. Only a sophomore, but definitely making headlines. And last but not least, Sophia Locke of Seconder is the golf. She's number 1 golfer on the girls team. Carries the lowest handicap and leading the team to a current 6-2 record. So that's the list. Guys, go to Gwinnett Daily Post, Student Athletes of the Month. Go there to get the latest on that. All right, number 3, Atlanta Vibe, best team right now in pro volleyball. They continue to dominate on the road. They just picked up a win over Omaha in that one. So they are currently, like I said, number 1 team. They've won 15 of their last 19 games and haven't lost a home contest at Gas South Arena since February. So they have been very good. And the dominant win over Omaha, who's the number 2 team in the league. They won 25-17, 25-16, and 25-18. They only dropped their second set in that one, and then their star, Leah Edmond, had one of her best games, leading the team with 24 points, 21 coming off of kills. Excuse me. So special for them. They are playing right at the right time. It looks like they're going to be able to get some home games too come playoff time. So they are going to actually play tonight against Grand Rapids Rise at Gas South Arena, and Gas South Arena is right in Gwinnett, not too far from Swanee. I think right off of exit 107, 108. So they have been doing their thing. All right, number 4, GBCA, Girls Basketball Coaches Association. They're having a live event, a basketball camp, June 22nd to the 23rd, 550. If you're going to do 2 days with 5 games, 1 day, it's going to be $400 with 3 games as well. 10 players, 2 coaches. How's it going to go? And then Saturday, 12 to 1 p.m., lunches, coaches clinic, and a Georgia Tech open practice as well. And if you want more information, contact them at nellfortnerbasketballcamp.com or www.nellfortnerbasketballcamp.com. So that's the camp. I thought that's pretty cool. Continue to grow the sport here, especially in Georgia. And one of the coaches that coaches Georgia Tech basketball, girls basketball. So I thought that was super cool. She's having a camp June 22nd and June 23rd. All right, last but not least, to close off the show, at number 5, Haley Grant officially commits to Bethune-Cookman. She's a track and field star for Johnson-Savannah. She's been having a great year so far. She's exceptional in the classroom as well as a part of the National Honor Society, and was a recipient of the Coastal Georgia Black Scholar Award, which recognized academic achievement along with civic engagement and leadership. So she has been great all her career. She finished 3rd in GHSA Class 3A 400-meter finals last season with a personal best time of 57:03, competing for Calvary Day. She transferred to Johnson for her senior season. Her best time so far this year, 58:31, ranks 4th in the state among 3A runners. So she made her decision officially to go to Bethune-Cookman, and right now has a 4.0 GPA while playing track as well. Her coaches talk very highly of her, how dedicated, how self-determined she is as well, and how she kind of approaches the game. So to end off the show, wanted to give her a highlight and just recognize what she's been doing on the track and field and also in the classroom. So that's all I got for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Keeping it real with Najeh Wilkins, all about girls sports. So that's all I got. What you got for tomorrow, Craig? Craig's going to have on River Ridge tomorrow, so check that out. That show sure will be great. And any coaches that want to come on the show and kind of highlight the program, talk about what they have going, just feel free to hit me a DM on Twitter at Najeh Wilk, and I'll definitely try to get you guys on the show. That's all I got. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Good luck to all the soccer players that are playing in the playoffs, and also tennis. I know tennis is going on right now as well in the playoffs. Good luck to all of them, and shout out to all the ladies on the girls lacrosse as they finish out their season and their senior nights. But that's all I got. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.